Hello, this is Taha.
This is Anaina,
This is Movie Masala.
and we're here to yap at you about films we watched recently.
And today we're doing
Kiki's delivery service.
I've gotten sort of fond of him, you know?
Thank you. Oh no! His head's falling off.
Ooh, it must have been the crows. They were making such a big fuss over him.
This is terrible. I can't deliver it like this.
Hey, I know. How about we work out a deal?
So, this is like a major throwback, but
Yes.
my sibling and I have been on a quest to watch, or rather, my sibling has been on a quest to make me watch as many Studio Ghibli films as possible.
doing God's work.
Truly doing God's work, because I cannot believe I did not watch these before because of how good they are. But basically, like, we watched the classics. We watched Spirited Away, we watched My Neighbor Totoro, we watched Princess Mononoke, we watched Howl's Moving Castle, and then we were like, okay, we watched Kiki's Delivery Service. And it is such a cute film. It was absolutely adorable, as in the Studio Ghibli way that it is. It's directed, obviously, by
Mhm.
Hayao Miyazaki, who is the main dude for Studio Ghibli.
The main dude, yes.
Yeah. Screenplay by Miyazaki as well. And it's based off of a book of the same name by Aiko Kadono.
Okay.
And
I did not know Kiki's delivery service was based on a book.
yeah, no, me neither. House Moving Castle, I think that's more like people know more that it's based off of a book.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kiki's Delivery Service as well. And the
Okay.
name of the book is the same. And the movie pretty much follows a lot of some of the plot lines in the book as well, including some of the kind of adventures Kiki goes on as like this delivery witch or something. Before we get to that, basically the basic plot of this film is quite simple. Kiki, 13-year-old witch, as with witch tradition, has to move out of her family home, find a city/town to live in, and live there all by herself and make a life for herself. Which she does. She goes away from her home, from her family, lands up in this huge big city, which was her plan, and then,
Okay.
basically has to fetch and fend for herself. And the way she ends up doing that is by running a delivery service, which she's very useful for, considering she can fly with her broomstick, as you know, witches are wont to do.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very, like I said, it's so simple because that's it. And I think that's the beauty of a Ghibli film. I think this film is one of the earliest ones. It released in 1989. So that's just 4 years after Studio Ghibli fully got set up, like as a production house, etc. So it's one of its earlier ones. And you can tell that it's one of its earlier ones based off of the length of this film. It's not very long. It's like barely 102 minutes.
Okay.
And in comparison to some of the more recent ones. And you can tell that it was made just to be watched. It wasn't made to make a point. I don't think it was made to kind of explore any like deep, meaningful themes. That doesn't mean there aren't any deep, meaningful themes. It was a film that was made for the craft. And the craft includes the animation and the music, which is what Studio Ghibli is best known for.
I understand what you mean. I don't know if you've seen any, but a lot of times the Pixar shorts are what those are. Pixar has this new technology that wants to try out, and it experiments with shorts, first of all, to see how they work. And some of those shorts are really well done because, yes, their like mainly purpose is to be a tech demo, very basically, but they can act as like this incredible avenue for creativity. And the point is not to make a grand statement, like you said, a grand point or like a huge like message. It's just to have a nice little story. In the same way, like you can have like those stories that you tell children, which don't necessarily need to make a grand point. They have points, they have a message, but they're not necessarily going to make you think for an hour afterwards.
Exactly. And I think just speaking about like the point of this film is I think to explore the theme of maturity, especially
Okay.
in young Japanese girls. And it's just this idea of, and I don't even think like specifically just Japanese girls or young girls, just basically youth. And as you grow older, what the responsibilities of youth entail. And it does so with this really cute, sweet story.
Mm-hmm.
Kiki has this familiar spirit as witches, again, are wont to do, which is a small, cute little black cat called Gigi. And Gigi embodies the same kind of maturity that Kiki does as well, where they're both kind of growing after moving to this big city, and they're both like going through adolescent experiences. Like in Kiki's case, meeting a boy. In Gigi's case, meeting a girl cat, and then speaking cat. Because
Speaking
up until
cat.
the moment Gigi meets girl cat, Gigi speaks in English, in Japanese to Kiki. But then Gigi meets girl cat and Gigi starts speaking cat and Kiki can't hear Gigi.
Oh,
And Kiki thinks it's a problem with her. She's losing her witchy abilities. But when you go to the end of the film, you find out, no, it's not that Kiki's losing her witchy abilities because she's moved to this big city. It's because Gigi grew up as well. And, it kind of embraces this idea of as people grow up, they, like people who've grown up together, grow up even more in different circumstances. They may grow apart, but that doesn't mean that they're like estranged or whatever, which I think is really, really cute.
I don't know, man. While explaining this to me, I feel you've convinced me more that's much more about something larger and it's exploring those themes well.
No, I didn't say that there wasn't anything. I'm saying that there is something, but you can choose to not look at all of those things and just
Okay, fair.
take it as like a movie of art. Because, and I was getting to this, I think the point of most Studio Ghibli films is the art, which is why, and I'm going to bring this back to like a few months ago, when the AI Studio Ghibli trend was going around, it made me super mad. Because the whole point of Studio Ghibli is those individual strokes of grass that flutter in the wind together. And how hair moves when you draw it and there's wind or there's rain, how cloth looks and feels when, it's wet or when it's super dry and airy. All of those things in a Studio Ghibli film are hand drawn. They are drawn by real people. They are drawn to, express those people's talents and art, and then to come together and put it together to make something beautiful. I think that's the point.
I also want to just even more on that. I think it is the craftsmanship and the hard work that makes it even better. Like, it's the difference between like I ordered food versus I made this for you, The taste is not the point. The point is the effort and craftsmanship that went into that little fluttering of leaves. Oh, there's a scene with like 200 insects. All of them were animated by someone who painstakingly put in the effort. And it shows. It's what,
Exactly.
gives that love that Ghibli is so specifically known for.
Exactly. And as usual, this film also has music by Joe Hisaishi, who's done most of the music for most Studio Ghibli films. And the music as well is such an integral part because it adds to the entire mood and atmosphere and theme of these films. I think when you put all of that together, when you put like a simple story that you just want to watch on like a lazy afternoon with the visuals and the animation and the drawings and the music, it can put you to sleep. Like, I find myself dozing off during every Studio Ghibli film I watch. And that's not because they're boring. It's because they're designed specifically to relax you so much and to slow you down so much that what can you do but fall asleep? And I think it's happened every single time I've watched a Studio Ghibli film in all the other 4 that I watched.
I feel that's the only time someone's gone like, the movie made me fall asleep as a compliment.
No, but genuinely, it is a compliment because it's making me fall asleep by slowing me down, by getting me to relax and breathe and be a part of this environment where everything may not be all chill and stuff. There are like stakes, there are problems and stuff.
Yeah.
But they're solved so easily. And like everything kind of just, I don't know how to describe it without like seeming hippie-like. But there's a flow in these films. And the flow is
I get what
really
you mean
melodic
100%.
and methodic. Yeah, which is, I think, what makes Studio Ghibli in general really good. And this film in like particular also really, really well. It's like set in a coastal island / town, which is kind of European. I mean, online it says that it's modeled after like a Swedish town, Stockholm or something. But I thought it was very kind of French Riviera, very Italian, Southern Italian kind of vibes, which Again,
Okay.
they are known for that slow life. But yes, I think it's just a really good film and it tells a really interesting story in such a simple way. But you can choose to kind of go deep into it as I did, or you can choose to just watch it and vibe and take a nap and wake up from the nap, rewind, and keep going again.
Fair enough. That sounds nice. I mean, honestly, I do really enjoy that whole vibe Studio Ghibli. As it just feels so. i- the stakes in all of those Ghibli films feels high, but from always a perspective of like a child feeling the stakes are very high, and like rising stakes. And I think, yeah, exactly that sense of like fantasy is
Exactly.
just so ever present in every frame.
Exactly. Yeah. It's great.
So those are thoughts. Thank you for tuning in. This podcast is produced solely by us with musical assets from Pixabay. If you enjoyed this, please do share it. See you again next time.